Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by cardsphere.com and we'll take a look at them a little bit later on. I'm about 2 hours away from moving into my new place and we're going to try to squeeze in one last video. And today we're going to be playing Dr. Michael Levine's current mono green black helm deck list. So this is a deck we've played a decent amount on this channel, and I've kind of frequently said that I'm not quite happy with any of the builds. And this take on it is kind of neat. The idea is that you move Chalice of the Void to the sideboard to get a different sort of generic main deck interaction in the form of Thoughtseize. So this makes it so that you have a generic turn 1 play that can be played off a single black mana. And that's going to increase the range of keepable hands that you have. A lot of the times, Chalice of the Void is good if you have Ancient Tomb in your opener, and otherwise it's a touch slow. Thoughtseize should be a faster, on average, turn 1 play. And I'm sure you all have either done this or seen this happen on my channel, where you cast a Chalice on one, then your opponent vomits a bunch of 0-drops, and you go like, oh, I was on the play, so I put this on the wrong number. You know, Thoughtseize very rarely misses. Your opponent has to have a grip of absolute lands in order for it to miss, or a couple other very fringe scenarios beyond that. A lot of times I play Sudden Edict in decks that look like this, but Sudden Edict doesn't hit everything, whereas Assassin's Trophy does. So this gives you some extra game versus some lands, say a Maze of Ith or a Tabernacle or whatever is giving you trouble, while also answering enchantments or planeswalkers or whatever you need to get out of the way. Not the biggest fan of my boy Karn here. I've been very vocal about that. But this deck does have a pretty impressive tutor board, not counting Chalice. Most of the board here is going to let you have access to something neat. Since you are not in mono black anymore, Engineered Explosives becomes a little bit more viable than it otherwise would be within a Karn board. And looking back at the main deck for a moment, we do just have 3 copies of Sheoldred the Apocalypse, which is incredibly strong as long as your opponent doesn't have a Caracas. With that being said, since we've done this sort of thing a handful of times on the channel, I'm just going to hop into the matches and see how it feels. I know Dr. Levine has put down this deck. This is kind of the last hurrah. He's going to focus on starting to learn depths to give himself a little bit more range in Legacy, but let's see how this feels. Oh, I should mention this little fellow here. Since you are in green, you do get access to another relatively potent Urza Saga tutor target. And I've been way more impressed with Haywire Mite than I expected. Alright, anyway, if you're new here and you like what you see, please consider subscribing. I'm closing in on 20k. I might already be there by the time this video comes out. And if you're a regular, throw me a like before this video begins. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. So our first hand here gives us a very good look at the cost of splashing black. Sorry, of splashing green. I'm on the draw. I have a Thoughtseize. Any land gives, well, not any land. Most lands give me a turn 3 Sheoldred, but I think with double off color card, I just have to mulligan this hand. Yes, this hand is quite good. Card that I throw back is pretty tough. I'm going to throw back Agadeem's Awakening. Means that I don't have the 4th mana for Karn in some timelines. If I don't need to Opposition Agent on turn 1, I can use Dark Ritual to Karn on turn 2 and find me a Helm. That's interesting. Go ahead and pass the turn here. Try to get something with my opponent's opposition. Sorry. Try to get this fetch land with Opposition Agent. Awkward if they just play another fetch land. I think I don't play Opposition Agent. I think I just chill. What the fuck? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Okay. This is awkward. I think I cast Karn now. I am very unsure. Karn minus. I think I go Mana Denial here. Grab Liquid Metal Coating. Cast a Dark Ritual. Cast a Dark Ritual. Cast a Liquid Metal Coating. So patiently waiting. Nice. Oh, that felt good. So basically, with the limited information I have to decide whether or not I'm boarding in Chalice of the Void. Underground Sea tends to be indicative of combo. You know, I could be looking at Doomsday, I could be looking at Storm, be looking at Blue-Black Reanimator / Show and Tell hybrid combo. I think I'm comfortable getting rid of the Assassin's Trophies for 3 Chalice of the Void. And I think I'll pull the Haywire Mite for a 4th. If this is wrong sideboarding, it's not that wrong. Yeah, this is perfectly fine. No, it doesn't have a sexy turn 1 play or anything, but it has turn 2 Opposition Agent, turn 3 Sheoldred or Helm. That's fine. My opponent's going to 5 here. 4. Okay. So you got Ponder, Thoughtseize. Can get slowed down a lot by a Thoughtseize. Like, my opponent has 2 cards left in hand. I have 6. I'll have a 7th after I take a draw step. Ooh, it was Sheoldred. Well, that was about my best possible draw here, because this gets to tell me what archetype my opponent is playing in all likelihood. Force of Will and Ponder. I will take the Ponder, stranding the Force of Will in my opponent's hand. If my opponent Force of Wills this Opposition Agent, cool. That means they 2-for-1 themselves and don't make a land drop. You know I have Opposition Agent. You should have fetched already. Didn't fetch already. I'm gonna go ahead and let them draw. Punished. They have 1 card. That is some of the laziest play I've ever seen in my life. Wow. So folks, let's take a minute to talk about Magic Online. On Magic Online, there's something called F6, and if you F6, that means you have no possible play at all until end of turn. You pass through everything. And what my opponent just did there was first played a fetch land, knowing that I have Opposition Agent in hand and Ancient Tomb, and did not fetch. Then afterwards, they played a land, F6'd, and gave me an opportunity to play an Opposition Agent, stopping both of their fetch lands instead of getting 2 lands into play. Be conscientious when you are playing. I literally got free double sinkhole because my opponent pressed F6 instead of, like, yield unless my opponent does something instead. Today's video is sponsored by Cardsphere.com. Cardsphere is a service that allows you to buy, sell, and most importantly, trade your Magic cards with other people and game stores from around the world. As you can see here, they are doing a lot of business. They only take a very small fee, 3%, and if you decide you want cash instead of cards, you can also get paid out via PayPal for a small cut. P.S. They also have articles, so please consider checking them out. Alright, I'm keeping my hand, starting the game with a Leyline in play. I get some early aggressive elements in the form of Dauthi Voidwalker. Might have gotten some freebie value with Leyline here. My opponent is playing like a Tarmogoyf for Uro deck. Yeah, probably playing against a Delver variant of some kind. I get to lead on a couple of basics to not be wastelandable in the early game, which is nice. Yep. I'll have some choices about whether or not I play Dauthi Voidwalker into a Daze this game. Alright, here's the fetch land to shuffle. And a greatly nerfed Dragon Rage Channeler. Like, it's still going to get to Surveil, but this is never going to become a 3-3. It's never going to fuel Tarmogoyf or Murktide Region or whatever. Unless my opponent... Well, I should just say until my opponent finds their one of Brazen Borrower. It just always happens. Max is, like, not really good right now. I don't want to give up any of these cards. I think it's hard for me to effectively play around Daze this game. Like, I could wait 1 turn, then play Bayou, then play Dauthi Voidwalker. if I do so, a lot of times I get wastelanded, and then like Karn is just going to be right back into dazable range. I'm actually just going to try to bait the daze out with this instead. Bobble targets themselves. Yeah, that's fine. You junk a Delta. Notably, I think if I was on a mono black build and these were swamps, I probably would have played around daze. Alright. Dragon Rage Channeler is giving them a lot of selection. Oh, nice. They junked a wasteland. They don't know that it's good. It's very good looking at my hand, but like with the information that they have seen, they clearly would not want a wasteland. Delver's fine. That's probably eating an Assassin's Trophy over the Dragon Rage Channeler. That lets me Karn around a daze next turn. I think I am more scared of the increased power here because it makes Karn more awkward. So I'm going to take out the Delver over the Dragon Rage Channeler. Although if I didn't have Leyline, it would be the other way. Ooh. No basic land in this build. That is very good to know for future games. Alright. That is two Scalding Tarn and Tropical Island hitting the exile zone there. And no shuffle, so they found something they like. I'm at 18. So I think I wait on Karn. I think I play Dauthi Voidwalker and try to use this to bait out any interaction from my opponent. Then play Karn a little bit later. I don't know if Dauthi Voidwalker is good enough from my opponent's position to eat a force effect. Other Delta in the exile zone. And they found something they liked. Going deeper. Chain Lightning is fine. That's two volcanic islands that just went away. Opponent has sent away a whole lot of land. Alright, I take some damage. Not cracking Bobble. Cracking Bobble. I think I continue to play conservatively here. Just past the turn. We'll do a mid-combat opposition agent. Hopefully get some more interaction out of my opponent, and then eventually play Karn. Ooh, they played around it. There's opposition agent. Alright, here we go. If Karn resolves, do I just get EE? Get EE, 3 for 1 my opponent. Tutor Helm later. That requires me to tap an Ancient Tomb and take 2. I think I'm okay with that. I kind of think this is getting countered. It is. I think that's worth the 2 life, though. I think 3 for 1ing my opponent in that position is incredibly strong. An opposition agent just gets held back. Now I just need to find something that... I was about to say beats a flipped Delver. Sure. Opponent cleared 2 more lands. That is insane. Alright. Life's bad. I tried to wiggle towards that Karn resolving as hard as I could, but we can just top deck like a god too. That's fine. Just Helm you. Okay. Pretty happy with how I played that one. So, Plague Engineer is pretty hot if I start the game with a Leyline. I do not want Haywire Mite. That becomes one of these. I am not sure of the value of Thoughtseize in this matchup. 2 life is so incredibly relevant, especially when I am on the draw. Not the biggest fan of Chalice here either. I could play it. Like my deck configuration on the draw could be -4 Thoughtseize, +2 Plague Engineer, +4 Chalice, -2 Opposition Agent. And that's like fine. I just don't have the matchup reps with this exact build to know kind of what I should be doing here. This hand is fine. I'm most scared of turn 1, like Blind Flip Delver that comes down before I can do anything cool with Plague Engineer. Leyline. Okay, sure. Dragon Rage Channeler is fine. I will clean that up with one of these 2 copies of Plague Engineer. I am unsure whether or not I will just jam a Plague Engineer with a Chromox next turn. It feels like the answer is no, but I may change my mind. Yeah, let's just play a swamp and pass. My ideal world, I draw kind of a crappy black card and I play a Plague Engineer next turn around days and force other resources to be used. That'll work. The Verdant Catacombs, fetch, basic land, Lotus Petal, attempt Plague Engineer. Nice. We're gonna name good old human there. Now, it's very likely Plague Engineer just gets bolted at some point, but as long as I take out a creature along the way, it's so strong. If my opponent has lost their degree of selection, and I'm set up to just do the same thing again next turn. Green Critter, Tarmogoyf. Fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana this turn. I can attempt 2 cards. Don't know that is correct too. I believe I am in Wasteland Bait territory. Fetch Bayou. Do a Dauthi Voidwalker. I'm going to pass turn here. I'm not going to play Plague Engineer into days and turn on that card. Okay, nice. Nice. Taking 2 from Tarmogoyf here is not a big deal. Plague Engineer has Death Touch and is going to trade with it. I know Magic Online is going off in a few hours. Thank you for the reminder, though. You've already told me twice today. Relatively speaking, that's a dead draw. But I can put it under the Chrome Mox to make my Urza Saga constructs better. Plague Engineer. I will be choosing human. I will 100% trade with Tarmogoyf given the opportunity to. My life total is low-ish. New Tarmogoyf. Sure. Still just a 2-3 though. Sheoldred. So this is 1, 2. I can actually just cast Dark Ritual to play Sheoldred this turn at the cost of Lotus Petal. I don't want to save Sheoldred for a couple turns from now. And Chromox makes me worse against Meltdown, but better against a whole lot of other stuff. I think I'm just going to play it out like this. That's fine. Okay, no attack there. Respect for the Urza Saga construct tokens. There's 3-3. Here's 4-4. Here's 5-5. I'm not going to imprint. Bash in for 5. Gotta dodge Meltdown based on how I've played this. Sure. Draw your card. Brainstorm's fine. I'm not intending on casting this opposition agent unless my opponent fetches. I just value the size of these constructs highly. Also, my opponent may or may not have Meltdown in their deck right now. Okay, we just got there. GG's. I don't know. Maybe if I'm trying to play around Meltdown, I do just expend the Dark Ritual, play out a Chromox without an imprint, and cast the Sheoldred. That might have been a misplay on my end. Okay. I cannot play Dauthi Voidwalker with this hand. I have 2 disappearing Urza Saga lands. I think the mana is just awkward enough with this one that I mulligan it despite having Leyline and a way to get a Helm. My lands just disappear before I do that, and like, I have Leyline Helm combo. I don't know that I ever get to 4 mana with this hand. I play Swamp Urza Saga. Urza Saga ticks up. I play Urza Saga. I make a construct. I'm forced to imprint Dauthi Voidwalker to stay even on mana. I'm not game for this hand. Yeah, this is a not strictly better, but I think largely better version of the same hand. I will take 2 stable lands over 3 unstable lands here. Marsh Flats is relatively rare. Sure. Underground Sea. Okay, we're playing against Cephalid Breakfast. Leyline in play helps out a whole lot. It doesn't necessarily lead to a win, as Thassa's Oracle can be cast from hand, but it's real good. Urza Saga is a solid backup plan here. Mono Shuko control. Alright, we have Bricked on land 3. Opposition agent next turn is kind of a big deal. If I can steal whatever they're going to get with Urza Saga. Rough. Okay. I'm safe enough getting Bayou here. I'll Thoughtseize you. I'm going to take Force of Will here. The way that I am winning this game is by activating a Helm of Obedience, and Force of Will is the thing that stops that. Leaving them with Baleful Strix. I need to fetch here as well, in case they randomly have Pithing Needle. Now, if they have Pithing Needle, they just name Helm. Or die to these constructs. Backup Urza Saga is just brutal. So I'm going to take 6, 7 here after 2 Shuko equips, and I'm just deterministically dead next turn. Dark Ritual gets me to 4 mana, not 5 mana. I think that's the end for me. I think I shut off my opponent's primary plan, but the secondary plan was too good. Okay, I mean, we kept a 2-lander and didn't draw a third. It happens. Pithing Needle's okay. Plague Engineer is okay. Alice is playable. EE is playable. The thing that I don't like here is that everything I can do only affects part of my opponent's deck. So for example, Leyline and Dauthi shut off a graveyard-based kill, but don't shut off a kill from hand or don't stop Urza Saga tokens. I don't know how I'm supposed to board. I don't think I want Chalice. I think I want Thoughtseize. Nomad's in core is 1 toughness, right? Core Nomad Soldier. Yeah, 1 toughness. I can just justify every single one of my cards being in my deck for different reasons. I'm going to do this. I don't know if that's correct. What I'm gonna do. This is unexciting, but fine. I don't think I need to play my Pithing Needle on turn 1. Going to just swamp and pass, intending on Ancient Tomb opposition agenting on my next turn. Sure. Fine. I think to always deny the mana, I am just going to opposition agent at sorcery speed. I cannot afford to waste the mana of leaving up opposition agent. Land Cephalid Illusionist, just combo off through opposition agent. Classic. Okay, my opponent activated a bunch of times, is now going to Cabal Therapy me. Giving a fairy to protect their Thassa's Oracle. Oh, they are passing the turn here. Means that Dread Return is in hand. So what do I put Plague Engineer on to win this game the highest percentage of time? They just have another Thassa's Oracle in hand already. What I do doesn't matter. Alright. Play a Saga. Play a Plague Engineer. Damn. Okay. I can follow up with a Pithing Needle to shut off Nomads in core. And that maybe saves me for a turn. I'm not going to attack. Like, I'm not dealing 19 before my opponent decks themselves. There's a land drop. Sure. I'll do a block. I take 3. I'll play a new Urza Saga. Again, I'm not winning the game before my opponent decks themselves, so I will stay back defensively. Or lands all unaffected by opposition agent that they naturally drew. That's so fucking unfortunate. Say, Livy. Okay. Do I want to keep an all-in Urza Saga hand that also has Leyline of the Void? The Urza Saga can fetch me a single black source in a couple of turns, which turns on Thoughtseizes. Doesn't necessarily turn on Dauthi Voidwalker and Sheoldred. Pretty likely to draw a black source of some kind between those turns. Reluctant keep, I think. I'm bad against Wasteland. Alright. Go Gadget Gayline. Gayline? Alright. LGBTQ community, Leyline of the Void is now your card. You heard it here first. Windswept Heath. I want to also mulligan to 5. I do not mind naturally drawing a Helm here. That's very good. I can put a Helm into play next turn if I would like. I think I would like. I don't know exactly what my opponent is doing over there, but it probably doesn't beat. Oh, am I just getting okay. Float mana. Punishing Fire is fine. I think we're playing against lands. Get a Chrome Mox. Probably imprint a Thoughtseize here. Do a land. Fetch. Have a basic. Play Helm. And Helm you. My opponent concedes rather than shows me their deck. But like Punishing Fire plus these cards is pretty indicative of lands, in my opinion. Probably don't sideboard much. Thoughtseize isn't exactly insane here. I'll pick up a Pithing Needle over that. I might move Crucible of Worlds to the main deck. Just really not in love with the idea of Thoughtseize on the draw. And I'm just looking for something to replace a couple of them. EE to clear artifact mana is not crazy, but I don't think I'm in love with that idea. Could keep some Chalices for putting them on 2 for the purposes of Life from the Loam and Punishing Fire. That's like a 4 mana play though. I'm already glutted on 4 mana plays, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. Okay. I don't like this. This is 3 wastelandable lands. Uh-huh. Sure. Oh, fuck. That makes my shit over here so much worse. 4 wastelandable lands. Okay. Bayou, cast Lotus Petal. Pass turn. You doing? Expedition map. Absolutely not. Dark Ritual doesn't do me any good right now, right? That's me 1 mana, but I'm not really great at double spelling here. I think this turn looks like this. 2 mana for Mite. And exile Expedition map, so that I'm not just immediately facing down Dark Depths. Because I am not beating that as of right now. And that's probably my only window to deal with that. That's an interesting draw. I'll pay some life. Do I get rid of this sphere? If I get rid of the sphere, I can double Dauthi Voidwalker next turn. I don't think I am doing that. I think the Assassin's Trophy has other uses. Punished. Oh. My opponent is opting to grind rather than go for a combo kill, which is good for me. I think I'm holding up Assassin's Trophy in this turn cycle. I want my own Urza Saga. That's an interesting idea. I don't think that quite works out for me. Rip in for the damage. At least not immediately, I should say. Play this land. No. Go to my end step. Okay. They create a thingy. I think now I get rid of this before they can like copy it with Thespian Stage and then just bury me forever in that. And if I tried to do this at sorcery speed, they just copy their Urza Saga and I'm super screwed. So now I will have the crop rotation? No. What was that? Life from the Loam. I get a Rashadan port. That's not actually all that bad for me as of right now. Yep, you can tap down one of those. With Dauthi Voidwalker and play the Life from the Loam isn't doing a lot. 2 mana for Dark Ritual gets me to 4 mana, which allows me to play Opposition Agent. I'm just doing it now. Since they have Life from the Loam in hand, I'm going to just keep Dauthi Voidwalker for now. Once I have a second one in play, we can talk about doing something else. There goes a Thespian Stage. Oh wow, they're still going aggro. That is surprising to me. I am, by my evaluations, I am the beatdown. Like, you are attacking for 4, I am attacking for 6. I have more creatures in my deck than you do. Stage target port, sure. Thanks for giving me that information. I've got another Dauthi Voidwalker. So graveyard's on lockdown. I have a 2-turn clock no matter what. The construct can't attack anymore. Yeah, GG's. Alright, final round. We're 3-1. I don't know that I like this hand. Mox is largely a dead card. I don't have easy mana to get to these 4-drops. I think this is a classic hand of mana and spells that probably just doesn't win a game. What does this one do? This is a keep. This is a weird fucking hand. I think this is a keep. I am just deciding between throwing back these cards. Like, how crazy do I want to get on turn 1? If I can go 4 mana on turn 1, Dauthi Voidwalker double Thoughtseize my opponent. I think I'm going to do that. It's spicy. Oh, yeah. Alright. There are some versions of this deck that play Wasteland, so I am going to just get a basic Swamp here. The basic Swamp, Dark Ritual, Dauthi Voidwalker, Thoughtseize. Oh! Not quite what I was expecting. I will be taking Vampire Hexmage. I will play out a Lotus Petal. This Thoughtseize doesn't do me a ton of good. I'm going to hold that and not blow Lotus Petal for that. Yeah, weird hand. Because there's 3 cards in there that I don't really want to Thoughtseize. Okay, now I have to Thoughtseize the Dark Ritual to slow my opponent down. Can I race? I think I can race. I play this and then try to take Dark Ritual next turn instead. Alright. This just represents Thespian Stage, which is scary. I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to take the Dark Ritual so that they can't use it to fuel map. Send these on in. Opponent goes to 11. I play Urza's Saga. I Thoughtseize them. They'll fire off Dark Ritual to crack map. They're going to need to draw another land in order to make a Merit Lodge. Yep. Do your searching. Okay. Yeah, they need to top deck a land. I win if they do not top deck a mana source. Or no, I guess it needs to be Dark Ritual, right? Yeah, yep, yeah, you can totally attack. Because you can't make it this turn. Now, so I just get to attack twice with 2 Dauthi Voidwalkers. Alright, threaded the needle here. I guess I could also Pithing Needle stage, but seems like I just win by attacking twice. So I'm gonna do that. Opponent's at 5. Okay, cool. So mono black, like Depth's Helm. Needle's good. Plague Engineer can kill a Vampire Hexmage. Alice technically does stuff, but feels really slow on the draw. Do not like Sheoldred here. Sheoldred comes out for Plague Engineers. I need to get this Pithing Needle in. -1 Karn? Karn's slow, but does shut off some Expedition map type stuff, and finding Ensnaring Bridge definitely matters. Sometimes. Like, my opponent is also a Helm deck, so there's that. EE is also not crazy to bring in. What does my deck look like if I cut Karn? Plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Rim Karn, play Needle. Rim Karn, play Needle. Okay. Not excited about this hand. Okay. I don't think I need to Thoughtseize on turn 1. Let's Crumbox, imprint a Dark Ritual, play Ancient Tomb, and we will Plague Engineer on Construct. Hopefully largely invalidating my opponent's Urza Saga. If I'm willing to throw away my Dark Ritual, I can also Thoughtseize on turn 1 to potentially get rid of an artifact in my opponent's hand. Ooh, sure. Alright. Hand's not looking great. I need to top deck some action. Would I like to give up Dark Ritual to Thoughtseize this turn and play Leyline? I don't know that I need to immediately Leyline. I guess I can Thoughtseize first and then make that decision, right? Let's do that. Awkward. Alright. Or take the Sudden Edict. I am now going to go ahead and Dark Ritual into Leyline. The reason being, I want to be able to win the game if I top deck a Helm. Right. Opponent's floating some mana. They find map. They crack map. They're going to get Dark Depths and play it. And next turn they play Thespian Stage. Oh. Oh. Draw Helm? Negative. See if my opponent goes for the kill. I would not go for the kill if I were them. They lose to an Edict for doing that, whereas they could have just waited one turn and not lost to an Edict. I don't know. That does give me another chance to top deck a Helm, though, and just get a win. Okay. When I am on the play, do I want to do anything differently? About the only thing I can do differently is play Chalice or move the 4th Helm into the main deck. Speed matters a lot, but Karn shutting off Expedition map also matters quite a bit. I guess Karn finding Bridge also matters. I think on the play, I'm willing to go up one more of these. I go down one Plague Engineer. My opponent showed me a decent amount of removal. Not reliably going to stick around. No, absolutely not. This has the disappearing mana problem and multiple 4-drops. Oh, this hand sucks. Is turn 1 Dauthi Voidwalker with nothing else afterwards. Turn 1 Dauthi Voidwalker does not race my opponent's deck. Fortunately, I have to go to 5 here. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, kill turn 4. Best hand that I've seen so far. But it does not spark joy. I'm soft to too many things here. I'm soft to opposing discard. I'm soft to a very fast combo. That's fine. Alright. I play my own Dauthi Voidwalker. Again, though, my issue is that my opponent just casts a discard spell, takes my Helm, and I'm dead. And I'm also just soft to a removal spell. Too many things are bad for me. Yep. Alright, I'm at 17. I will be taking 2 to play out the Helm. I need to threaten a kill. I have 7 things that lead to me getting a kill next turn with this. Fuck. Alright, I gotta draw one of them. I'm at 12. I did not draw one of them. So my out is Helm of Obedience, my opponent, for a large number. Okay. My opponent may not go for it in the face of 5 open mana, but they just jammed last time. Alright. I don't know what I am looking for. Does this 2 damage matter? I think getting a card deeper and maybe staying alive is relevant. Vampire Hexmage. Well, I'm going to remove all counters from target permanent on the way out. And concede. Oof. Alright, so that's it. We made it to the end of the league with a 3-2 record, which is perfectly fine. Overall thoughts on the deck list. It is a solid build of this deck list. I don't know that I have any tips that actively improve it. I am unsure whether or not the green is worth it based on this single league. I did have to throw back one hand due to Assassin's Trophy, multiple Assassin's Trophies not being castable off the mana that I did have. So, like, there is a cost to playing them. I think Haywire might basically won me a game on its own, so that's a thing to keep in mind there. I like what is going on with this deck list. It feels like this is probably pretty close to optimal, or within a few cards of it, with the green splash being something that's in contention. I do sort of wonder if the deck needs a slightly more robust Urza Saga tutor package. Like, as it stands, this is a very bad Urza Saga deck. There's not that many artifacts that you're going to play out and power up your Urza Sagas, and you don't have something like Shadow Spear to go and search up to go and give you the lifelink that you need to like stabilize after taking a beating from your Ancient Tombs or opposing cards like Delver in the early rounds. Maybe Sheoldred is filling that role already. Sheoldred didn't do much this league, but we played against fast decks, relatively speaking. I don't know that this deck is good enough against certain opposing combos to be good as a whole in the current meta. Like, the Cephalid Breakfast deck destroyed us, and the Mono Black, very much not a meta deck that I faced in the final round, kind of dodged a lot of my interaction and was just faster than I was. I guess that is a general complaint about this deck, though. It's not super fast. It's trying to be a little bit resilient. You have some acceleration with Ancient Tomb and Dark Rituals, but it's not like you need to get to 3 mana to win the game like something like Show and Tell does. You often need to get to 5 mana to play Helm and activate. And sometimes there's a bridge turn where you have to Karn tutor first. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out. It helps out a lot, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya!